Alright guys, welcome to episode 2 of my half-length Chinese pit bike. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check the previous episode that's down in the description or the comment section. And let's jump right into it. So if you haven't seen this is the Chinese 125 CCM pit bike that broke in half, and we have the remnants right here, as you can see. And today we got some new things. I've got this box full of stuff that cost me $70 shipped. So let's see what we have inside. So we have the rear fender, $5 shipped. Cables, those were I think $12. Triple clamp, the lower and the upper, together $15. And then we have the brand new Stator, $20, and the cover $10. So let's start with cleaning this surface, and then we will put on the triple clamps, then dismantle the front, put the forks in, put the front back together, then we will focus on the plastics, and then of course the stator. I think we will do the stator first. Let's see if will even run. If we can drain the oil. Yeah, and we can drain the oil this way. So let's drain the oil. Let's do the stator, then the front end. I also have to keep the furnace going, and I have the 42 degrees Fahrenheit in here by the furnace, and even less here by the bike. So I have to warm up with work. So let's get the oil drained. So ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. What do you think? Oil or nothing? There is something in there. I'll let that drain out, and I will set up on the other side for the magneto pull. I have hopefully everything to be able to pull this magneto. So this is a 14, I hopefully standard thread. Oops, and right into the oil. And this thing wasn't even tight. The magneto though doesn't want to come out with hand, so let's see which one of these pullers will be the right one. This one is not. What about this one? This one looks to be. This one it is. Let's see if we can. Oh, it's a 19. There we go. That's off. Let's rescue the puller. we can take a look that we have some chunks of a cover. Thank you, Purse, you are not needed anymore. So the magneto is a little bit chewed and scored, but hopefully we will be able to use it anyway. So now we need a Phillips head screwdriver or an impact driver, and let's take this magneto off, stator, I'm sorry. Let's take the stator off, and then we can proceed with the new one, and the wiring, magneto back on, and we will test the spark. So let's see if we can, the upper one is loose enough that we were able to take it off with just a screwdriver. What about the lower one? Usually one of them is not that optimistic, and in this case it's the lower one, so I need to bust out the impact driver. So let's take, and like that we are victorious. Nice. That's really good news. Take the second screw off, and now we have this off, and we can take the new one and hopefully get the order of the wires right, so this will have spark. So I've got the wires all connected, and now we need to unplug the switch from the handlebars, plug it in, return the magneto, and secure the new stator in place, and we will be ready for the spark check. So let's do that real quick. I'm very sorry for the lighting. I'm trying to do my best, but the Mother Nature and my financial situation are not helping me with the lighting, so I have to shine on the subject with this big floodlight, which is not the best way to illuminate the area, but we'll have to work with what we have. So let's tighten down the cover. Just make sure that we do not destroy the O-ring that's around the edges. That should be enough. Now we need to fish out the nut from the oil. Where's that thing is? Clean it up a bit, and we can also get the magneto back on. Line up with the key, tap it in slightly. Put the nut to the crankshaft. And give it, I have it unplugged, hold on. Plug this thing back in. Give it a little. That's enough. And as I said, we need to plug in that switch, and then we are ready for the spark check. Well, I connected everything back up, and guess what? We do not have spark. Also, this spark plug is really fouled, so I think even if we can get this thing to fire spark, it will burn oil like crazy. So let me play a little bit with it, but at this point I don't know what else I should do. Every wire on this is either green or red, and so I don't know which wires is supposed to be hooked where. The old was hooked only on 2 wires, so I will try to unplug that everything, and we will see if I can make this thing fire spark, but I do not have high hopes. Can you see the spark? So we got spark now, and the issue was that this thing has a key switch and I forgot to put it on. So let's put the oil back in it, and let's see if we can start this engine for the first time that we got this bike. So let's turn the fuel on. This hose is petrified, so I don't know if anything's entering the fuel bowl. I don't know, this should be choke full, and as I said, this will probably, even if it starts, this will probably smoke and we will be doomed. So let's see here. With no choke. I should probably put the front end back together first, but I'm curious to know if this engine is trash or not. Okay, I'm going for the syringe. So I will try to squirt a little fuel through the intake, and we'll see if we can help the bike start that way. It was quite a lot, I would say. So let's see. Oops. This thing keeps falling off the stand. So let's see here. Can we make it run? Yeah, we can. It probably needs a carb clean and also the oil change. The oil hasn't been changed since this was new, I think. Let's try the couple milliliters through the intake again, and then close the choke. It doesn't smoke yet. We'll see when it will be fully warmed up. So let's start with the front end. Let's clean the meeting surfaces for the bearings, let's grease them up, and let's see if we can make this thing running and driving again. Well, we are in a bit of trouble here because the triple clamp rod that goes through the lower triple clamps is much taller on this one than is on those new ones. So we have two options. We can cut down the triple neck here, or we can press out these ones and press in this one. This will be fairly easy. I can just cut this one out but with this one it's not going to be that easy. So let me think about that, and my battery is going low, so I will probably see you in another day. I was able to take it off with the hammer and the socket right here, and you can see the difference in those two. Putting it back on will be much more difficult though, so let me try that. Hopefully I can pull that off. Also, I had to make this little locating notch. The old one had it, as you can see, and the new one didn't, so I had to cut that little locating notch, and now hopefully I can press that in. Okay, I've got yet another problem. This thing, the diameter of this race is 25 millimeters. The old one, or the new one, is 24 millimeters. So I have to either drill this out or take this down. Alright, I'm back on this thing a couple days later. We haven't been successful with that shaft going through that housing, that steering housing, and that being a week before Christmas. You of course will see this video in the middle of January, but I'm recording this just before Christmas, the 22 of December. Everybody has either vacation or doesn't want to work before the Christmas, so we need to wait for the guy with the lathe just after the Christmas. So what I think we will do today is that we are going to take off the plastics, clean the carb so it does run on its own, and I bought 5 liters of castor motor oil. So we are going to change the oil in this bike, and I think plastic weld the fairings, the plastics, the guards, and change this rear puzzle. If somebody wants puzzles, you can have them here. So let's take the carburetor off, and then the plastics. Then I will shove it outside, let it run outside and warm up, and we will drain the oil and refill it. I think it should hold like 1 quart. And also one thing that I'm hoping is that this engine will have, with this amount of oil that's in it right now, will have enough oil so for the oil pump to pick up. Yes, and of course we have to check the valve clearances also. So we have a lot of work, so let's get into it. Okay, so I don't know if anybody ever did these valves on this motor, so we are going to see, and we're going to check if they are properly set or not. I think this should have 0.1 on the intake and 0.15 on the exhaust side. So let's get this thing to the does this have any marks? It does, but what should we line that with? There should be something on the case. I don't see it, so let's mark it right here. Do we have the free float? Kinda. Let me do one more revolution. Okay. About now. Nope. Intake. and now we are on compression stroke. Okay, so 10 doesn't fit here. And what about the exhaust? The exhaust is going to be tricky. You know the drill. I will be back when we will do something else. Okay, I have set the exhaust valve just by the feeling, and so if you will have any tapping noise in the future, we will have to address that. But now let's take a look at the fuel issue. We know that it starts, but it doesn't stay running. So if I can get this purified hose off of there. It's not happening, as you can see. Nope. Let's get rid of this pesky hose. Let's cut it. As you can see by the movement of the bike, the stand is not the best. Okay, the hose is off. So let's test the petcock, if it even works. Oh, there's our problem, lady. Our petcock doesn't work, or it has no gas going to it. But I think the gas tank should be full. Yeah, I can see gas. I can see gas in there. So we do not have problem with the carburetor. Maybe we have a problem with the petcock itself. So let's cut the hose off of that petcock, and we'll see if the petcock itself is clogged or what is happening. So let's cut this if we can, and do not slice open our fingers. This hose probably is not meant for the gasoline. It went stone hard. We have it off. So let's see if the filter, and the filter was clogged. So filter was clogged. So into the dumpster with this one. So let's find ourselves a new hose, shall we? So I got rid of that clogged filter and bad hose, and I found this piece of hose here. So let's see if now it will flow, and it does flow. So let's cut off the rest of that petrified hose from the carburetor, and let's see if we can get away without cleaning the carburetor. I slightly doubt it, but we'll see if we can. Okay, now it should come off. Let's see if this hose is not going to be too, and it is. It fits here, but it doesn't. They got two diameters. They got the diameter for the petcock is bigger than the diameter of this hose down here. So I will look if I have a hose clamp that will be small enough to clamp this down, and if not, then we have to figure something else out. And in the end, I had to go with hose number dry. So let's see if the carburetor will leak past the needle and seat or not. So far it looks good, so let's test it if we can start it on this fuel hose and on this unclean carb. Once I set it, it started leaking. When I was buying this thing, I asked the guy, does it smoke? Does it burn oil? No, it does not. Guess what? That smoke coming out of there, I think that's the oil. But let's clean the carburetor anyway, and we'll see how it does in the long run. So the carb is held on with two 10mm bolts and the gasket in the middle. This gasket is broken, as I can see, and this one hole is stripped, and it has to have the nut on the bottom. That's also nice. This thing's butchered. And here goes the first and the second bolt is ready to come out. Here we go. Now let's drain the float ball and clean the carb. Slowly but surely this bike's turning into scrap metal, because I can't sell it with the smoking engine. Nobody will want it. So let's drain the float and we'll see if we can at least stop the leakage and go from there. So how much fuel do you hold, little fella? That's it? Okay. Two Phillips head screws holding the float ball on. Got dirty screwdriver. It's better. Looks clean inside. So why, for the love of God, it didn't seal properly? We'll see. Let's get the jets out. Check those. So let's clean this carburetor up and let's see if it will leak again. Okay, I've got it back together. I adjusted also the float level. The float was pointing downwards a bit, so I adjusted it. Maybe that was the issue with the off-rolling. So let's put it back on the machine and we'll see. Yeah, it's starting to smoke. So now when I see how it smokes, I don't know if I can, if I want to really change the oil in this thing. I think it's not worth it. When these things smokes, you will not sell them, probably. Or you will sell them, but for what I'm in it. That sucks. I'm really pissed off at that guy, so I don't know what I will do. I will shove it outside, let it run a bit, but I think this will be the end of this little pit bike. So it seems it's not smoking anymore. I had a little oil leak from the O-ring that wasn't properly seated on the magneto on the stator. So I redid all that, and now I'm going to install this cover and we'll see. Alright, I did some work behind the camera, and I don't think that the smoke is our issue. It cleared up. I set the carburetor properly. The float ball level is set up properly now, and it doesn't smoke. It smokes a bit on the startup, but it clears right away. It should really need the valve stem seals replaced, but we are not gonna do that. And we are going to end the episode 2 right here. I think we have a lot of footage on the episode 2. So I will see you in the episode 3. Until then, be safe out there, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the episode 2. Bye!